Hey, today we have a B5 from Declaration Grooming, and I just got this in and tried out. This handle design is interesting. I'm going to see if I like it. Normally I like something with a little bit more weight and bulbousness on the back end of it instead of up here on the front, but it's a gorgeous handle. And what attracted me to this one is that normally B5s are, I think, set a little lower than this one. I believe that usually I can't see as much of this lighter colored hair, and I love it when it's more what I hope around this loft instead of being closer in and being a shorter loft, because that really amplifies the density, makes it so it's kind of pushing my skin around a little bit. And so if it's lofted out a little bit more than your typical B5, then I might be willing to deal with a handle that is less than perfect for my own ergonomic needs, especially when it's as gorgeous as this one. Look at that. This is from, what is it, Hammer and Chisel? I'll have to look at my paper. Something like that. And then it's got a Declaration B5 knot in it. 2-band Badger. All right, first thing I want to do is, it doesn't feel like it's been used too many times. I like to soak mine. That's how I like to get it wet before, as I prep the other items for the shave. All right. Something I want to do this week, as you can see by the background, I'm not in my usual locations. And I am going to try, while I'm here, to kill this bottle of Nivea Sensitive Post-Shave Balm. I got this at the beginning of my wet shaving adventure into kind of the more premium ingredients and elements of the shave. This has been very good for me, and I'm going to see if I can kill it this week, use it all up. The soap I'm going to use today, this is awesome. This is the first time a viewer of my YouTube videos has been generous, kind, and has sent me in something that they didn't use for some reason. I think maybe his wife didn't care for the scent, and I totally get that. My wife is very focused in what she likes, and that's why I have a bunch of different kind of soaps, because the soap doesn't last very long, and so I can have all kinds of nasty smelling weirdness in terms of the soap, but I have a few aftershaves and a few balms that I use, and I try to focus those on, especially in days when I know I'm going to be around her more, focus those on something that she likes. So the soap, that's me town. And so maybe that's kind of what he going through as well, but he's so kind to send me in Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements is the brand, and then Tombstone. And as you can see, gunpowder, leather, tobacco, what does that say? Geranium. I'm reading it backwards in the phone there. Bergamot and rose. Does it say rose? Yeah. And so I'm very interested to see how all those match together. I like the scent from the tub. I definitely get the, I think I get the gunpowder, but I definitely get the leather and the tobacco. And it's definitely more of a dry tobacco, not that tobacco blossom, the florally one. I don't think I get the bergamot or the geranium. Maybe not the rose. But that's cool. That's the way I like it. They can be supporting elements to add some depth, to sweeten up some harsh notes, different roles like that. But if a rose and geranium were a dominant piece in this, I probably wouldn't like it. All right. So this will also be my first time trying Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements as a brand. I've never tried their soap base before. He was also generous enough to provide the splash as well, the aftershave splash. Let's see. It's got alum in it. It does have a little bit of menthol, aloe, rose water, and it is an alcohol-based splash. So we will test that out. We'll see. I'm kind of a menthol litmus test. Most menthol is too strong for me. There are a few of them out there that are fine. But here's what happens. If something is it gets me a little irritation, then that usually means I just have to put it on my desk for the next day instead of right after the shave. And I can enjoy smelling that way the next day when I guess my skin needs a little recoup time after the shave for some of the stronger mixes of aftershaves. All right, that's the software, or some of it. Another piece of hardware that we're going to use, this is a Facone handle. They stopped making handles apparently. It's stainless steel. And I think it matches the look of this Wolfman WR1 head. As you can see, this is the solid bar, and this is one step up from the standard bar. I think the standard bar is 0.61, and then this is 0.67, I believe, in terms of the gap between the bar here and the blade. So speaking of the blade, crazy story. I'm traveling. Got all my soaps that I wanted to play around with during my visit. I got the brushes I wanted to use. And if you're a faithful watcher, you know that I've started to use this little aluminum card wallet thing to hold my blades. And it works out really well. But it's out of my routine. And I put it up in my cabinet out of the way where I couldn't see it. And I left it. So now I was going to put 3 uses on my Nasset and bring it up to 110 uses. Can't do that. However, I believe the same gracious viewer, fellow shaver, who provided this, I believe he also provided some about 6 or 7 different tucks of blades, and a couple of them I've never used before, and that's great. One that I have used before, and I chose specifically for this evening, was one that he provided, the Perma-Sharp. And I believe these have done really well for me in several razors. And so I chose them today, and it'll be neat having a fresh blade. As you know, in many cases, I often do not shave with fresh blades. I like to get uses out of them because a lot of times after the first or second use, you start getting into a more smooth experience with your blade. All right, Perma-Sharp Super. These do have the waxy dots, like some of them do. So it takes a second to gently open up the envelope. And be very careful not to cut yourself. Okay, so what do the blades say? On both sides it just says Perma-Sharp stainless. So that's it. And to load up, how I do it is I can put the blade in my palm right there. And this is a standard 3-piece type design where the top cap here is what you put the razor on first. This one has rails right there. Man, with this camera angle, I have to hold my hand a lot higher than usual. Okay, then this is the base plate. This is what the bottom of a Wolfman base plate looks like. And I just put that on gently. And then what I do is I'll pinch the screw right there, the bolt, so that it kind of holds these two together. Then I can use my other hand to grab the ends. And so now I can hold it very safely. And then now you just have to worry about the pinch hazard. So as the handle gets finger snug, now I can take away my hands and then screw it tight without pinching myself. And there we go. And this excellent razor head does not need to be aligned because of those rails. It holds the blade exactly in place. About time to start building the lather, so let me splash my face. All right. So as usual, I'm going to take my full water brush, shake most of the water out. Since I don't know anything about this base, this is how I treat an unknown weapon. So most of the water's gone. I have a nice little time counter on the video. When it hits 45, we'll do 30 seconds of loading. We'll just see what that does. So we'll go to 15-second mark. If this is a really efficient soap, I'll end up with a bunch of extra soap after the shave. But there are some soaps that need a full 30 seconds or more. Looks like it's loading nicely. 15 seconds is up. Now look, I've already started to generate kind of some early, thick lather. Okay, took a moment to rinse out the threading around my soap tub so that it would be easier to put that lid back on when it came time. All right, so this is how much has loaded onto the brush. Just to give you some idea if you're kind of new to it. And let's just start. So this is starting out and it feels kind of dry and pasty, and that's okay. We're just going to do it a little bit more, and then I'm going to start adding water. I know that Phoenix has a large number of soap scents available. I know they do a good bit of business. If you like Western scents like this, Mickey Lee has a cool one called Unforgiven. Soapy Bath Man, a Canadian manufacturer, has a great one called Desperado. The scent profile is amazing. However, the scent strength is really weak. I couldn't even smell it when I was using it. I had to stick my nose in the tub to be able to smell it. So I haven't used that one very much at all. But performance was great with Soapy Bath Man's base. So now I have added 1.5 teaspoons. From the feel I'm getting on this knot right here, I'm really liking, I think I am really liking, going to like the splay on this one. I think the loft is going to be set closer to where I will really enjoy it. This is my travel bowl. It's melamine, so it's not going to break on me. And this again is a Dollar Tree special. And so even if it does break or get crushed or squished, I'm out exactly $1. Whipping up pretty creamy at first. Very kind of a high body kind of thing. It's not laying low to the bowl and being all slick and slimy. It's puffy. I want to add one more little bit here, and then we'll do our finger test. It's not super strong because the scent is not really coming up from the bowl and snagging my nose. Some artisans will take strong scents like this and back them off just a hair because if they have to put more oils in it so that it has a good strong scent, then sometimes people's skin will get irritated or it'll really bother them. So they play it safe. It's a little bit airy, some bubbles here and there. Let's just see how it feels. Good cushion, nice slickness. I don't really think I can feel the ridges on my fingertips. fingerprints. So that's cool. That means we haven't overwatered it. I'm going to push a little bit more water into it. Let's do another bit. So far I'm liking this handle enough. If you are a bowl latherer like me, then often you'll find that you like longer handles so that your fingertips aren't always getting soapy and messy. And that's another reason to try to get the right amount of soap, because if you overload your brush in the beginning, then you have to keep adding water and your lather gets deeper and deeper and it starts getting messy. And then there are some handles where if you get soap on your fingertips, then you really have to have this death grip on the handle. And it's not exactly enjoyable and zen-like and therapeutic and meditative like I personally want my shaves to be. Now this looks good. Yeah, we got a jumper. Well, we just shave with this and see what happens. If I have to thick it up, I can. I'm really liking the bloom that I'm feeling from this brush. I have a good feeling. I'm going to take that block that dropped in the sink, use it as a pre-shave to break up some of the oils that my skin just loves to keep around. Alright. I don't even have to rinse it all the way off because I'm just going to throw on more oil, more soap right now. Alright, so Wolfman 0.67, slightly more aggressive than his average setting. Oh, this feels good. This is nice. Oh, this is nice. Oh my goodness, this is it. This feels so good. This has got, my other B5s are young. Now I don't know if this is just an older B5 and so it's got that splay, but I think it has to do with the loft. I am just so sure of that. Mine are lofted a lot lower, deeper into the brush, and so there's less of the bristle coming out. And so that it sticks up into its dense nature and it doesn't want to bend out and splay out. Now maybe age will help with that and they'll splay more and more. And then they'll eventually become like this guy. I hope that's the case. Well, I have just got lather all over. All right. Nice little scent during the shave here. It's like a 2 standing still. Maybe a 3. Let's see how it is. Next time I lather up, I'll try to pay attention to it then. It feels good on my face. Nice and creamy. Let's see how the Perma-Sharp does inside this 0.67 head. It's kind of being a little vocal, huh? I think that maybe the lather could be just a little slicker. I might add a little water to the lather and see if I get a little bit more glide out of it. It's not smooth, but it's predictable. I feel like there's a possibility I could get cut if I screwed things up, but I don't feel like oh, hey, look, right there. Yep. Now, why in the world would that happen? I do have a tiny bump right there, but maybe that was a cut from a previous shave. And rinse time. So I didn't get a whole lot of glide that first time. I got a feeling it's because my lather's not quite wet enough, not quite slick enough. So let's just add to it. Well, I did not think I was going to like this handle. But right now, I'm able to hold it up here easily, and I have enough leverage. So it's good for the mixing operation. And I did not notice any problems with applying it to my face, and so maybe this may not be my dream handle, but it's very usable, and I'm enjoying it. But mostly I'm enjoying this knot. Holy cow, soft and big, and it's got the give that I like. It's not just so firm and dense like the other B5s out there that I have had a chance to sample. All right. Yeah, and another way that you can sometimes know that your lather was a little too dry, your face will dry out too quickly in between passes. Like mine just did. I'm going to add even a little bit more. Okay, so I just added I don't know if I'm refilling this for the first time or the second time. Sorry. I need to make a note of that. Oh yeah, this stuff. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, folks, a 30-second load, giving me tons of lather. It looks like with this soap, I don't need quite that much load time, so that's good. But 20 seconds will be just plenty. Now, in a way, it's not going to be a true comparison because that first pass is always the roughest one. Razor always has more glide than the subsequent passes. There we go. Tons of lather. Looks like he's got a pretty good base here. All right, let's see what we get. Cross grain. Doing great. I don't think that this particular blade is the best one that I've used in this razor. Seems to be just kind of a little scrapey. And I'm pretty certain that I've tried others that, like maybe a Gillette Silver Blue, that felt much smoother and still cut really well for this razor. Rinse. This lather has a very creamy, luxurious feel, even after I have lightened it down, thinned it down with even more water. Let's add even more. And that's, this may be actually typical of a problem that does occur sometimes when you load too much. If you load too much soap, think about it. Let's say that if you load twice as much soap as you really need, then when you mix it up, you're going to end up with twice as much lather as you really need. And then, but if you stop short of that twice as much, then what you have is a lather that's too concentrated with soap or too dry. And I think that's what happened with me. So take a look at this soap now. Look at the flexibility there. The long peaks, look how it moves in the bowl. Moves around, it's got more elasticity because it's more hydrated. So, good to know. But this, I think, is just a really good soap base. I know that he sells a lot of stuff. I don't mind this handle at all. It was terrific. The reason I went ahead and bought it, number one, I knew that I could resell it if it didn't fit. But number two, I thought the handle was hot, but the main reason is I saw that little extra light colored hairs near the handle that I showed you, and I thought that looks like it's set a little higher in the handle. It's got more loft than usual, and I believe I was right. And so, winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, third pass. Paying attention to my angle, see if I can get any of those little hairs that didn't quite get cut in the two previous passes. Glide was much better. Now I can feel it. So the first pass, it was too rich. Too much soap in the ratio at that time. And with each pass, I've added more water and it's gotten better and better. So now I know not to load quite so much. Really thick, luxurious lather I'm getting here. Very nice. I do see some red irritation just a little bit, but I don't really feel it. Not really that close of a good shave. Not really that close of a shave tonight. Still got plenty of guys right here that's showing a little bit of length. I usually will also do a neck only pass at this point, but I think I'm going to forego it. It's possible that this blade Just doesn't work for me and my skin and my shaving style and in this razor. Just so many variables. But it's new. It's possible it could do better in a few more shaves. So I could come back and try again later. All right, let's see how the splash, see how I react to the splash. See if it's got too much alcohol for me. And too much menthol. Sometimes I will get a red reaction from the aftershave, and it wasn't there during the shave or because of the actual shaving process. The aftershave actually stirs it up. A little bit of alcohol sting, but not too bad. My eyes feel the menthol just a little bit. We'll see if that turns in. Sometimes menthol for me will turn into a burning sensation, and then I'll have to put it on my desk to be used the day after the shave or several hours after the shave instead of right after. All right, so while this kind of starts up its process, I'm going to start cleaning up. Now, I think, if I refilled it once, then I have used up 3 teaspoons of water. If I refilled it twice, then I have used up 5 teaspoons of water. Since I've loaded too much soap, it's possible that 5 was it. Need to keep better count. All right, how much lather did I have left over? A good bit. That cooling sensation's kicking in now. I've got 2 or 3 passes right here with no problem. So 30-second load, that's a lot. Maybe even get away with 15 seconds on this particular soap. Yeah, it looks like the menthol is strong enough in this one to feel a little bit more like a burning sensation for me. Not really something I would look forward to after a shave. I guess if I was a morning shaver and I needed to be jolted, you know, instead of a cup of coffee, I could use something like this. But I'm a night shaver, and so I like smooth, easygoing stuff. So hey, why don't we put some of this balm on top of it, see what happens, see if it calms it down or what, because you know, I need to use up this balm. Yeah, see, I've got more redness after putting on the splash. Sterling splashes do that to me as well. So it's not just this one. A few others do. All right, there we go. I've got oily skin, so even if I didn't have a balm, I'd be fine. Eventually, the menthol would subside after a little bit. So, I forgot to really smell for the strength of the soap in the second and third passes, but I think I'm going to say strength was maybe about a 3 or a 4. Probably more like a 3 because it was a little present during the shave, which is nice because I really like the profile. I love those. Those are some of my favorite ingredients. That's the kind of soap I take to my wife and I ask her to smell it and she's got, yeah, well, I like it. But it wasn't super strong. Definitely have to try it again because this is a good soap base. And I'll enjoy using that for sure. I love that whole gunpowder leather family. Holy Black has a gunpowder and spice and a sandalwood smoke or something like that. They're kind of in that family that I really enjoy too. And then Mickey Lee, I mentioned that Unforgiven. Really good. All right. I'm cleaning up. All right. Shave done. Cleanup done. The burning and cooling effect is finally worn off. I do smell that nice scent. And so it looks like the aftershave is a nice strength, stronger than the soap, and that's how it should be, really. So the soap is a tad weak for me, but it's still really enjoyable. got a good profile. The performance was excellent. I failed a little bit in making it a little too dry because I loaded too much from the beginning, and therefore it took me a while to catch up with adding the right amount of water in it. So soap was the star of the show today. The Wolfman didn't quite work too well with the Perma-Sharp, for me at least. Other people, it might be fine. I think with this head, since it's a little above the standard gap, a little more aggressive than the standard, I think maybe I might see if somebody will trade me, and somebody who might want to be moving up. And if they have a standard gap, I think I'd like to try that one out. And because I think with the Wolfman, I'm not trying to be edgy, to try to find something that just gives me the best cut possibly can. I think what I'm looking for is more comfort and smooth, and I know that it'll still be an efficient cutter. So there we go. A good shave. Learned a lot, and I discovered a new base that I hadn't tried before, and I like that scent a lot. That's right in my wheelhouse. All right, excellent. Oh, the brush. I put it away. The brush was amazing. Oh, that was the co-star of the show. Just the loft that I have been hoping that my other B5s would have. I got a feeling I'll probably be able to sell one of my other B5s now because I found it, right? I found it. It feels great. Oh, that was so nice. Anyway, hey, I hope there was something here for you. Take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.